I'm Rochelle, and I'm going to be showing you our garden for 2023. We live in zone, I believe it's 4A, so that limits a lot of the ability to grow things, but it also means that other things do really well. So this is our second year in a row using the Back to Eden gardening method, which is putting wood chips over the surface of your garden, and we really have liked it. It basically eliminates all weeds, so all the time I spend in the garden just gets to be fun, not just pulling weeds. I get to do the fun part of gardening. And we also like how it keeps the soil moist and protected, and I think it helps to keep water in, and it also means that right after a big rain we can just walk through the garden and not get muddy, and it also keeps dirt from splashing onto the plants, and it keeps the plants very clean to have the wood chips on the surface. So those are a couple things that we really like about it. So coming to the end of the garden here, let's start with the peas. These are obviously almost done. We'll be pulling those up soon. We got a good harvest from these sugar snap peas. We've got lots of green beans this year. Last year I just didn't grow as many as we could have eaten if I had had more to freeze and preserve. So we have some green beans here. I've been harvesting from these for a couple of weeks already, and you can see there's lots of holes. Actually, a lot of our leaves have this in the garden this year. I'm not sure what bug it is, but they're still producing. Just doesn't look very nice. We've got carrots. For some reason, this end of the carrot row did not germinate very well. Those flowers are a carrot from last year that is going to seed. The one interesting thing about growing with wood chips is you don't till your garden, and so that means that vegetables get left over the winter, and so there were carrots left over that went to seed, and as we'll see, we have a lot of potato plants. We didn't actually plant any potatoes this year. All the potatoes are volunteer that were left in the ground, I guess, accidentally last winter, and are producing now. So yep, that's carrots. So now I'm going to show you the cucumbers we have here. We actually planted these using, we tried a different variety this year. This variety, I forget what they're called. They are much more of a bushy plant. They're not really vining as much, and so we have this fence up for them, but they're not really taking advantage of it, so we have to really dig in there and make sure we're getting all the cucumbers. There's lots and lots of blossoms. I do hope that the pollinators are able to get in there enough with how dense it is in there, but so far we're getting some cucumbers. So behind me there's a lot of pepper plants. We started all of our peppers from seed this year, and last year our peppers did so well that we thought, let's just grow a ton of peppers and see if we just have more peppers than we know what to do with. So that's why we planted 48 pepper plants. We've got jalapenos, bell peppers, we've got sweet sunset, they're another kind of fresh eating pepper, and then we have a type of habanero pepper that's supposed to be a little bit less spicy. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of peppers, I think. Obviously not all of them are doing well, which is why it's nice to always plant a little bit more than you think you will need, but obviously we will not need this many peppers, so we'll hopefully have lots to give away and do whatever we want to with. So we've got some volunteer dill, and yeah, over there is our mess of potatoes. We have not done anything to help them. Just let them grow and we'll see how many potatoes are under the soil in the fall. Okay, so here is our sweet potato patch. So last year we grew some sweet potatoes in a little pot, and they actually produced, so we got really excited, and this year I decided to plant a lot. So this is several plants in here, and it's really exciting to see them just grow, obviously getting eaten by something, but yeah, we're hoping to have some sweet potatoes this fall. So here we have some more green beans because we planted those ones and I thought, I don't know if we have enough, so I planted more. And then beside the beans, we've got some radishes that have gone to seed. I think that happened last year too. For some reason, I just don't use radishes. And the beets are here. And we've got some zinnias. I saved all our zinnia seeds last year and replanted them this spring, and they're just beautiful. Such a nice pop of color in the garden. So behind the zinnias, I don't know how well you can see from here, but we've got a large amount of parsley. I actually need to harvest this and do something with it. So beside me here, we've got some celery, which is the first time we've ever grown celery. And I thought it would be really cool to just have celery in the freezer that we've chopped already, and that way I don't have to buy celery for cooking and stuff. So it seems to be doing really well. We've kind of been mounding up beside the stalks. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. I tried some, on some of the plants, I wrapped the base with cardboard to blanch them. But I'm not super particular about what they're gonna look like or how perfectly white and long they're gonna be. So these look pretty good and they're probably ready to harvest. I need to figure out what to do with those. Well, you can see a lot of cherry tomatoes. I think we have 6 plants here and they've just gone crazy. I need to prune them back again to just discourage them from trying to flower because they have plenty of tomatoes and they need to focus on those getting bigger. So some of them are getting ripe and you can see Boaz is trying to find the ones that are, I don't know if he's actually just sticking to the red ones. Hopefully he's, yeah, there you go. Yep, that's good. Your hands are all dirty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. So we actually have, tomatoes along this whole fence here. We've got cherry tomatoes, and then we have Roma tomatoes, and I believe another slicing tomato as well. So here's the section of the garden that I'm really excited about. So I decided to grow a bunch of herbs this year, many of which I hadn't grown before. So this is borage. I actually have no idea how to use it. I need to learn a bunch of things. But it's gotten really large. It's got beautiful blue flowers, and some of it was it's kind of tumbled around because we had a large rainstorm last week that kind of knocked it down. So yeah, and then we have some stevia here. Just bought this as a plant. I really like just snipping off a little bit of the top and adding it to tea. Just green leaves, they seem to work really well just as green leaves. So it's a nice sweetener to my iced tea this summer. So we'll show you the rest of the herbs here. If you want to come around here, you can see what I'll be talking about here. So beside the borage, we've got calendula, which I saved the seeds from our flowers last year. And I just love them. They're so beautiful. I'm drying some for herbal uses, and I'm just picking some for bouquets, and they're just so pretty. I have chamomile here. This chamomile just keeps flowering. I keep harvesting it and drying it, and it keeps producing. So I'm going to get lots of tea from this little patch of chamomile. So that's just so fun. We've got a volunteer sunflower. All of our sunflowers here as well are volunteer. So somehow a seed got underneath all the wood chips and got planted. So here we've got some lavender. I started this lavender from seed, and it's just so fun to see that I could actually grow it. Looks like this one. I need to be starting to harvest some of these because they're gonna die and I don't want that. So it's just super fragrant. Whoopsie. Behind Boaz here, we've got some bee balm. I think it's supposed to be a lot taller than this by now. It's August. It hasn't flowered yet, so I don't know. We'll see. Having trouble there? And then of course, there's always going to be some things that aren't as successful. So I've got some holy basil here. It's trying to flower, but it's just never been very happy. It's never grown very much, and it's just so teeny still, so that's too bad. Here we have some straw flowers, and they also haven't bloomed yet, I think. So it's been a really dry year, and we've really needed to water a lot. And so if we haven't been watering, I think some of the plants aren't growing as a result. So I think that's the result with the reason that this isn't doing so great. So the garden box is full this year. In the spring, we decided to shovel all the dirt out. Mercer did all of this work. We decided to shovel all the dirt out and line it with plastic to help the water from seeping out constantly, because it was just so very dry all the time. And so we did that and put the dirt back in, and it's just been a massive difference. It's always moist now, and the plants are obviously doing a lot better. So we've got lots of lemon balm here. I think it was the end of June I went to the greenhouse, 50% off everything, and just bought a bunch of lemon balm plants. I just harvested this yesterday. It was the second harvest already, and we're drying it and should have a lot of tea, which I just loved our lemon balm tea last winter. So we've got more stevia plants here, a type of mint. I know that mint is invasive and they say you shouldn't plant it where you don't want it to spread, but so far my mint plants have never come back. So we'll see if this one does. We've got some cinnamon basil, some snapdragons that are being kind of engulfed by the cucumber plants, and then some echinacea that I just bought for fun. It's it hasn't done much, hasn't grown much, but it's pretty. And then these leaves here, this is purple coneflower echinacea that I started from seed this spring, and so I'm pretty sure they say it's not likely to flower till the second year, so I'm really hoping it's going to come back next spring. Got some catnip here, another herb that I've just heard it's great to grow, but I haven't learned any uses for it yet. Here we've got some apple mint and some more lemon balm, just random stuff scattered everywhere. Onions are neglected. I know it's good to snip the tops off the greens to about like 4 to 10 inches off the ground, but I just don't really care, honestly. I have so much to do and I'm just focusing on my priorities, and the onions are just not my priorities. So that's why they look kind of sad. So this plant here, I left it when I saw it growing this spring. I just left it to see what it was, and I think it's a milkweed plant, which is so interesting. I don't know how it grew here, how it started growing. So I've seen some monarch caterpillars on there. I'll just leave it, I guess. I've left it so far. Got a nasturtium plant, first time growing nasturtium. It's a really pretty flower. A friend gave the seeds to me because it was supposed to be a good companion plant for cabbages to kind of ward off the bugs from eating the cabbages. I didn't grow cabbages this year, so I just have the nasturtium here. These cucumber plants I actually just bought because the ones that we planted over there didn't all germinate very well, and I really wanted more cucumbers, so we decided to buy a few plants. This is the Cool Breeze variety, and they're doing really, really well. Looks like I actually missed this one earlier. I was picking earlier, and I like to pick them when they're about, this is a pretty average size. I like to make pickles, whole dill pickles, so these are great for that. Behind the cucumbers, I actually started another row of peas, sugar snap peas. I don't really like to bother with shelling peas because you need to grow so many to have a substantial amount to freeze. And peas are just, they're great, but it's more fun to just have the sugar snaps that are so fun to eat fresh. Hey, I feel like that was a pretty quick tour, but I don't have a lot of time. So that's our garden for this year. It's doing really well, and I'm busy harvesting and preserving things now, which is busy with 2 babies now. But it's been it's always so rewarding to grow your own food, and it's great to get out into the fresh air. It forces me to just kind of be outside, slow down a little bit, and Boaz loves being outside. We love gardening together, Mercer and I, and so we're really enjoying it. And it's just so fun to learn more tips and tricks for growing different types of vegetables, and I'm just loving delving into growing herbs, and I really hope to grow more next year. We'll see about expanding the garden. I'm really hoping that we can grow some or start some more garden boxes, because we've got lots of gravel kind of because we had to dig our garden out. So it's kind of not as simple as just digging more grass up, which we have a limited amount of that as well. So yeah, I think that's a wrap. Thank you for watching.